Hi everyone, Zach with Magnum Bikes here. Today we're going to go over a basic build procedure on a Magnum Pathfinder. Once you've got all the packaging removed from your bike, like I do here, you'll notice a few accessories that are included in the box. First is going to be your toolkit, which will aid in the assembly. In addition to that, you will of course find your charger for your bike, the pedals for the bike, which we'll go over the installation for, and your set of keys. Last but not least, your front fender as well. So the first thing we're going to do is install our handlebars. To do so, we're going to remove these 4 bolts and what we refer to as the faceplate of the stem so that we can install those bars. So we're going to finish removing these bolts. All right, once you've got all 4 of those bolts removed, go ahead and grab your handlebars here that I have dangling. And there we go. And then I use my hands to start threading these bolts in, just a little at a time. They have quite a few threads on them, so it'll take just a little while. And there we go. And now with my 5mm Allen wrench, we'll finish threading those in. And you'll notice I'm not tightening one bolt completely at a time. You want to do a rotational pattern similar to what I'm doing, otherwise referred to as a star pattern, just to distribute that load on those handlebars. Now we'll go through and really snug each one up. As a load-bearing piece, we want to make these pretty tight. And there we go. So in your charger box, you're going to have a couple of cable organizing clips in here. We're going to clean up this area right here with these. So I like to use 2 of these, and you can fit 3 cables each in one of the clips included again in your charger box. So here I'm doing the rear brake housing and these 2 electrical wires here. They can be just a little finicky to get everything in line, so just be patient. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you can decide which cables to use. This is just the method I've come up with. And there we go. That's a lot better. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and install our pedals. Here we have our right and left pedal. They are specific to either side of the bike, and a little bit of grease. Here I have Park Tools Poly Lube. You can use just about any grease you might have laying around your home. You'll notice on the pedals, clearly stamped as R and L for left and right. The left and right is in the perspective of the rider, so just bear that in mind. The threads do change, and we don't want anybody stripping out the cranks on their brand new bike. We're gonna go ahead and just smear that grease around that we applied a little, and we're gonna go ahead and install those pedals. I'm gonna start with the right hand pedal, and nice and easy, just line that pedal up. You can pedal backwards, it'll start threading. You'll feel that catch. If you feel any kind of resistance, of course, back up and restart. I'm just gonna get these hand tight for now, and then we're gonna tighten them up with a wrench. Same thing, nice and easy. You'll feel those threads catch. Now, if you have a pedal wrench, go ahead and use that. Here what I have is a 15mm opened-end wrench. And we're gonna just grab the flange of those pedals, push down, and really put a lot of effort into that. We really want those pedals nice and tight for your safety. Same thing. And there we go. We're getting near the end of our build here today. The next thing we're going to do is remove the hardware for the fender and light and install that fender and light. First, I want to go over the orientation of the spacers for the mounting hardware. So in the front view of the bike, we have a 5mm head Allen bolt and a washer. And on the back side here, we have a small rubber gasket to protect the paint on the backhand side. That's going to go in between the fender tab and the frame. And we have another washer and nut. So we're going to go ahead and remove that now. I'm going to show you the way that I figured out how to do this to make my life easier. So we're going to go ahead and install the bolt into the light bracket first. And we're going to go ahead and fit our fender. Go ahead and install that bolt. This will at least hold everything together for us as we grab that small rubber gasket. We install that on the bolt. Then the other tab of the fender. Get everything good and lined up. And then we'll grab that nut and other washer. We'll start that by hand and we'll tighten up using a 5mm Allen wrench and a 10mm open end wrench. And once it starts getting tight, you can go ahead and position your light the way you want it. There we go. And this can be pretty tight. You don't need to go overboard though. To prevent that light from slipping, you can also tighten from the nut side, and it'll keep that light still for you. And there we go. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and install our front wheel, and that'll complete our basic assembly today. The first thing we're going to do before you install your wheel is to make sure to remove the pad spacer used in shipping of the bike. There we go. Going to rotate our fork here. And on the wheel, you want to make sure the axle nut and washer are on the outside of the fork on both sides when you install the wheel. Go easy and align that disc brake rotor in the caliper so you're not fighting it. And I like to use my knee here to push the wheel all the way up into the fork dropouts. And we're going to use again a 15mm open-ended wrench. And we're going to slowly tighten both sides in unison. And again, we want to make these just about as tight as we can. And there we go. We're almost there. There's a few more things we're going to check though. We're going to check for stem alignment with your front wheel. You can do this by doing what I'm doing, straddling the bike and sighting it forward. I've noticed mine's a little off, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen these two 5mm bolts. There's one on either side of your stem. We'll break those free. There we go. And I use my foot to hold the wheel stationary and just align that fork. There we go. And then the reverse, we're just going to tighten these up nice and tight. I also recommend going through the bike and checking that every nut and bolt is nice and snug before you go out on your first ride. It's a rarity, but on occasion you'll find something's a little loose, so go ahead and go through the bike thoroughly. In addition to that, before you go on your first nice long ride, take the bike around your neighborhood, apartment complex, what have you, and just make sure everything's working up to your standard. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing Magnum Bikes. If you have any more questions on your Pathfinder, please watch our technical overview video.